Have you ever heard the term deconstructing faith? It's a phrase that's been gaining a lot of traction, especially among my generation. It might sound scary, like tearing something down, and for many, it's a painful and confusing process. You might have seen friends or family members walk away from the church or question everything they've ever believed. Maybe you're even in that season yourself. You're wrestling with tough questions about the Bible, about church culture, or about a God who seems silent in the face of suffering today. We're not going to shy away from this conversation. We're going to bravely face it. We'll explore what this process really means, why it's happening, and why it doesn't have to lead to a total loss of faith. In fact, when done constructively, this process can actually be the most powerful catalyst for spiritual growth, leading to a faith that is more resilient, more authentic, and more deeply rooted in the truth of Jesus Christ than ever before. This is a safe space for questions. This is a safe space for doubt. If you've ever felt like you didn't belong, or if you're holding onto your faith by a thread, then this message is for you. Let's start with a clear definition. Deconstruction isn't about simply leaving the faith. It's a process of critically examining and taking apart the beliefs you've inherited or been taught. It's about separating what is truly biblical from what is cultural, traditional, or even man-made. So why are so many people engaging in this process today? There are three main reasons. Church hurt. This is probably the most common reason. It's the pain caused by hypocrisy, betrayal, abuse of power, or legalistic rules within the church. It can make you question if the God of the Bible is anything like the people who claim to represent him. For many, deconstruction is a necessary step to heal from this pain. Intellectual and philosophical doubt. This is when your faith comes up against tough questions. Questions about science and the Bible, about the problem of evil and suffering, or about historical contradictions. In an age of information, it's easier than ever to find these questions, and it's tempting to feel like your faith can't hold up to the scrutiny. Social and cultural shifts. As our world has become more progressive on issues like gender, sexuality, and justice, many people feel that their traditional faith is out of step with their conscience. This can lead to a conflict between what they've always been taught and what they feel is right, causing them to question the foundation of their beliefs. These are all valid reasons to ask questions. But here's the key distinction. There's a difference between healthy questioning and destructive questioning. One leads to a deeper pursuit of truth, while the other leads to cynicism and abandonment. The truth is, asking questions about your faith is not new. It's not a sign of weakness. It's often a sign of life. A faith that can't handle questions is a faith that is too fragile. Think about some of the greatest figures in the Bible. Job questioned God's goodness and justice in the face of unimaginable suffering. His raw, honest lament is a whole book of the Bible. The psalmist cried out, "How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me?" Psalm 1. Even Jesus' disciples questioned his identity and his plan. Thomas famously doubted the resurrection. God doesn't condemn their questions. He meets them in their doubt. Their journey of questioning led them to a deeper, more personal faith, one that they truly owned, rather than just inherited. So, if you're in a season of deconstruction, take a moment to breathe. It's okay to not have all the answers. Your faith is not a house of cards that will collapse just because you pull on one thread. It's a pursuit of truth, and the pursuit of truth is always worth it. The danger comes when we deconstruct without a plan to rebuild. When we tear down and just walk away, we leave ourselves in a state of spiritual homelessness. But when we rebuild, we can create a foundation that is stronger than ever before. If deconstruction is about identifying the things that are not of God, then reconstruction is about replacing them with the things that are. This isn't about going back to the way things were. It's about moving forward into a more mature, more resilient faith. Here are 4 steps to help you rebuild. Focus on Jesus, not just church culture. One of the most powerful steps you can take is to strip away the traditions, the politics, and the social norms of the church, and simply return to the core of the gospel, Jesus himself. Read the Gospels with a fresh perspective. What did Jesus to say? How did he treat people? How did he interact with the broken and the marginalized? Often, our disillusionment comes from our experience with people, not with God. Reconnect with the person of Jesus' love, his grace, his humility, his character is the one thing in our faith that is truly unwavering. Rethink your relationship with the Bible. Instead of reading the Bible as a textbook of rules or a scientific document, try reading it as a spiritual guide and a story. Understand the historical context in which it was written. Recognize that the Bible isn't just one book. It's a library of different genres: poetry, history, prophecy, and letters. 2 Timothy 3:16 tells us that all scripture is God-breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness. It's a living and active word, designed to transform you, not just to give you all the answers to every single question. What finds a safe community? It's crucial to know that you are not alone in this journey. If you've been hurt by a church, it can be terrifying to find another one. But community is essential. Look for a church or a small group where it's okay to ask questions, where grace is emphasized over legalism, and where people are more concerned with authentic relationships than with performance. Ecclesiastes 4:12 reminds us, a cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. You need a community that can support you as you rebuild. Prioritize your personal relationship with God. Ultimately, the most important part of your faith is not your church attendance, your biblical knowledge, or what you post on social media. It's your personal, intimate relationship with God. James 4:28 says, "Come near to God and He will come near to you." Spend time in prayer, in meditation, and in quiet stillness. Learn to hear His voice and feel His presence outside of a formal worship service. When you build your faith on the rock of a personal relationship with Christ, you will have a foundation that can withstand any storm. Deconstruction can feel like a spiritual crisis, and it is. But crisis can lead to clarity. It can lead to a faith that is no longer fragile or inherited but is truly yours. It's a faith that knows where to look for truth, one that isn't shaken by every new question or every disappointment. If you're in the middle of this process, be gentle with yourself, be patient, and remember, God is not afraid of your questions. He is big enough to handle your doubts, and He is loving enough to meet you right where you are. Keep seeking, keep rebuilding, and know that a faith that has been deconstructed and rebuilt on the solid ground of Jesus Christ is a faith that will last a lifetime. What is one question about your faith that you've been afraid to ask? Share it in the comments below. Let's create a community where we can explore those questions together. If this message brought you hope or encouragement, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more honest conversations about faith, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thank you for watching, and remember, a faith that has been tested is a faith that is trusted.